Awesome. Welcome everybody to another installment of a mini float chat today. We have Adam Cruz, aka Hopscotch. And the
Hello.
first time I heard about this guy, he was actually nominated for our 2014 Spinspiration article. And he was in the innovative prop category. And I have to say, when I saw the video, I didn't really think much of it. It was just a dude playing with some flow torches. And then a little bit into the video, I was like, wait, what just happened? So I'm going to actually let you tell us what happened. So tell us
Um,
a little bit about your prop. What is it called? And what makes it so unique and innovative?
so what I actually make is I call the flux torches, which are actually a pair of torches that have magnetic ends to them that when they connect, they can make a combination of both nunchucks, also to staff, also then something a little in between torches, poi, and being able to connect on the ends makes them be able to make something a little bit new and different, and multi-prop in the full sense of the word. So
That's so awesome. You know, I've seen a
you're
couple of props like this coming out, and I haven't really seen one quite like yours, but what is it that inspired you? I mean, our arsenal of different props and their usage is just so broad. So
right.
what was it that made you say, like, well, we can still have this thing. Like, we can still
um,
improve on that. We can make that
yeah,
bigger.
it was the fact that I was actually inspired by a lot of the modular props that had come out at the time of being able to have more than one prop in a single tool, I guess you could say, to differentiate between the different styles and stuff. But what I always saw, like on the in-between, was that there was always this moment where there was like a stopping point where they either had to connect the tool in a certain way to reach that point, or to attach it and take the time to kind of transition between the two different types of props rather than having them all at kind of your fingertips. And uh, it just got me thinking of how could I make something that could work in the same kind of vein, but on the fly, to be able to go between those two props right in the middle of performance. And so, yeah,
That's so awesome. And I think that's really what creates that kind of magic. You're not passing the prop to somebody and you're not having a stagehand give another prop to you. You're
right.
just transforming it. And that's exactly why I sort of had that reaction when I saw that video. It was like, whoa, what was
Yeah,
that?
that always turns into the one thing of like either, oh my gosh, he just broke his staff, or oh, wait a minute, I thought I was watching something else. And yeah, it's right in that middle, right in the thick of it, that you're able to transition so quickly. That gives a kind of dynamic, which actually kind of where I got the name Flux from, both for the magnetic flux for the handles, and what, for the sake of magnets themselves, and then also to the flux of change of it constantly kind of in this setting of modes that it can go through, or forms that we're starting to call it. So, yeah.
So what were some of the technical things that you really, what were some of the challenges that you faced and some of the reasons that I guess others haven't done this yet? Because I'm sure it's not just as simple as gluing a couple of magnets to some handles and then
hmm
having it come together and work the way that yours does as well as yours does. So in the manufacturing sense, how did you make this all come together?
So, a lot of the main problems was being able to find a balance between the versatility of the magnet itself, because you can always grow a little bit stronger to have a bigger size of something, but also there's a little bit of a danger factor in that, because of the fact that when I was starting out, I was trying to find the correct power, I guess you could say, or the pull force on the magnets themselves, and going larger sometimes would actually then cause a good solid pinch. Like there is that little bit of danger factor, but then also too, the magnets that I use themselves are actually pretty brittle when they're being like slammed together constantly, and like catching them out of the air and other things. And so finding a way to be able to protect them but still have them give off their full magnetic force was a little bit of the challenge going along the way, and a lot of trial and error. So
And do you make the handles yourself, and do you sort of build them around the magnet, or do you just affix the magnets to existing handles?
Yeah, I actually then get my current handles of the version that I'm using are actually Lantern Smith's palm grips. They actually just work really well with what I'm using, but in the past I was using so many different things. Like I was trying different coatings, I was trying like wooden grips or wooden ball handles that I could like bore out and put the magnet into. I was trying larger rubber handles, like or silicone, I should say, like the Playboy ones, and just trying a whole bunch of different things. And currently, right now, like I say, I'm using the Lantern Smith palm grips, but always trying to go onward and upward. So I'm looking into doing a specific mold now myself for a handle that will fit and be kind of made for the magnets themselves. So that way, it's really tuned as finely as it can be.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much for letting us into the process, because I think a lot of people are seeing all these props sort of coming out of the woodwork, and people have these great ideas, but they just never know how to execute them. So I hope a lot of you are taking something away from this interview and just really seeing some ways that, yeah, I can do it too. Like, it's not that hard.
Absolutely.
And there's always going to be trial and error.
Absolutely. That was always the kind of thing for me too, because then in the search of like, oh, does someone make this, or is someone doing the thing that I want to do? That was also the inspiration of, rather than being kind of defeated and being like, oh, this thing isn't out there, it really kind of for me is kind of like a tinkerer and like that kid who always like took something apart to put it back together, and just the curiosity itself, like, give it a try. Like, try something, like get a couple demos going, just even if you fail and like it just completely explodes in your face or something, just to keep giving it a try and like keep developing things.
Exactly. The worst thing you could do is nothing, right?
Exactly.
So with that being said, I mean, I guess really the worst thing you can do is set yourself on fire. And that's always the kind of the inherent danger with making new props. And you've spun your props on fire, haven't you?
Oh yeah. The main thing that I make right now is actual fire torches themselves. The other current side project that I'm looking for is, finding a cool head or something that I can actually attach to the torches themselves to either have a day prop, something practice and not fire in that sense, but then also to working towards, because a lot of people, they've been doing a lot of homebrew kind of LED work as well, like making their own LED heads and other things, and so finding that kind of like happy trio of like daytime practice, LED, and then like the fire is always kind of like that end goal and like trying to push for, but at the same time still trying to put that kind of little spin of originality on it, and like stand out a little bit in its own right. So
not only is it going to be multifaceted as a prop, it's also going to be multifaceted in its prop usage, in the terms of you can use it as an LED prop or as a fire prop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I would like to, yeah, absolutely. So slowly but surely getting there, but currently it's currently just being made for fire, though I have done a couple like prototypes with just like some dog toys and just playing around for a few others, like Jeremy Menifee I know has a practice set, and also Brian Perez, who was a big help in doing some of the R&D for these. I made him one like that, but still nothing like set in stone. Everything was still kind of like feeling it out, so hopefully I'll get there though.
Awesome. Well, I had no idea you had a little bit of a production operation going on. That's really cool to hear. Are you hoping to sort of raise your production, kind of, start, I don't want to say mass production, but kind of start getting your numbers up and start selling these guys?
It has definitely grown organically since I started out. In the beginning it was more, in that selfish sense of like, oh man, I really want to make something that I would like enjoy spinning. And then slowly but surely people, would see something and be like, oh my gosh, like that's really cool. And then I had a friend eventually be like, what would it take to make me one? And I was like, I never actually thought to try and make more than the one that I'm working on. Let me find out. And then I made one for him, and then he told a friend, and so I started making it for that, and it just kind of grew from that. And at this point, it would be awesome to be able to get the chance to be able to make them in a number that people don't necessarily have to really wait or have to, feel that they have to get a friend's one, to play with and things, because that's my real goal. Is I really, if this is as fun as it is for me and the people who already have sets, then I want to make that available to them to be able to jump in and, have it to be able to play with and experience, because being it is so new in this sense, at least as a standalone prop, the more people playing with it and everyone coming with that beginner's mindset, the more it can grow. So I guess so, yeah, I would like to up my numbers to be able to have just the availability for the people who would like to play around with this.
How tangible is that for you right now? You said you have a few contacts. I mean, how, like, what kind of resources are they providing for you to make this happen?
I mean, people have been extremely positive in the response of me, like, posting them. Like, just recently, like, I just kind of, outside of Facebook, I hadn't really had a whole lot of, like, social media and other things, and so I started to just, like, share, and, like, got a Instagram and just started to share, like, what I was creating and doing, and that got people, like, sharing and talking about it as well. So currently I've got myself, a friend of mine, Brandon Carzales, who's also doing, like, the wicking and a few things to, like, help and just kind of make some pieces to be readily available, as well as my sweetheart, Jillybee, who is actually doing and picking up a lot of the, like, prep work for me to come home and, like, work on the magnet section myself, and then be able to have just them ready and available for whoever wants them. But another thing too that I like to have for these is to be able to make them and customize them in a way that speaks to the person who is interested. So each one that I do has been a little bit different, with either, like, the grip design or the size, or also then the size of the wick, how much fire, and, like, I think that's another awesome thing that I'm kind of steering away from kind of ramping up just yet, because I really like to talk to these people one-on-one, to be able to be like, oh, that's really cool, or, like, idea, or I have this color scheme because it relates to my life in this way, and I get to, like, kind of peer into these people who are interested and make those kind of, like, connections, and it's been really awesome so far. So
that's great. So is there a way for example, our audience, if they want one, to request one from you?
Absolutely. So you can either, like, find me on Facebook at Adam Cruz, aka HopSkotch with a K, or then also too at fluxtorches@gmail.com. Just give us an email. We'll take a look at it. We'll send you, like, the basic info and, like, some pictures, some ideas, and let's just talk. Let's see what you're looking for, and let's make it happen. So.
That's awesome. Awesome. Love having vendors and manufacturers like you in our community. And thank you so much for coming on today and kind of lifting the veil on prop making just a little bit higher for us. I would love to have more prop makers, more innovators on this show, because I think you guys really inspire the community, and you really push people who are thinking about doing something like this to move forward with it.
Well, thank you. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much, Adam. You have a great Friday night, and I'll see you later.
You too. Bye.